(267-495-4866) is the phone number, or email me at dougcarnsprogram@gmail.com. All right, welcome back to the show. We're talking about honesty and how much it's needed in today's world. You got what's going on in the Middle East. Oil prices are now at $108 a barrel. To put that in perspective, just a couple of weeks ago, it was at $90 a barrel. So pretty much for every dollar the price goes up of a barrel of oil, you're looking at about 20 cents to the gallon. So what do you think that's going to do to your gas prices right now? They're going to skyrocket in a couple of weeks. And I got on this because I saw a news story in the local news last night in Philly about how people were annoyed about how high gas prices are climbing again. And it's not even the summertime. It's a three-letter word. This is all you have to ask. And you can tell it frustrates me. Just ask why. Why? Why are gas prices going up? Now, the average person will say it's the big oil companies. Well, I can tell you, I've done all the research in the world, and it's not the big oil companies. Yes, they bring in billions of dollars a year, but they charge a 6 to 7% profit margin. Again, Apple charges, they make 44% on their products. So all Exxon does, they buy the oil from the Middle East, and then they sell it here for just a slightly higher cost. So and it's all by percentage. So if the price of oil goes up, they're obviously going to be making more money because 6% of a higher number is going to be a higher number. So just ask why and figure out for yourself. Because if enough of us could wake up and get involved in politics, at least to get our representatives to do something. You know, Obama just denied this pipeline a month ago that could have at least started bringing a little bit more oil into this country, you know, from this continent, from Canada. So we wouldn't have to be dependent on the Middle East. But how about we open up more drilling, more oil wells, and then get independent on oil. That way, when we're ready to go to cleaner energy, we can just move to it. We don't have to worry about, you know, any catastrophes happening over there. Because if you say if it can't happen in America, it will happen in America. We've had horrible things happen here time and time again. We've rounded up Asians, Japanese during the World War II, and Germans. We rounded up African Americans in World War I. Let's see. We've had re-education camps here that you don't learn in school at all anymore because thanks to FDR, he gave us re-education camps and they wiped them from the history books. I mean, things can happen here in a snap and nobody's concerned about it. Everybody thinks it's America. It can't happen here. Well, as soon as you think it can't happen, it's going to happen. Just like if you say, you know, my house has never been robbed. Well, how about the person next to you that just got robbed? I guarantee they said the same thing yesterday. They said, oh, I've never been robbed. I don't really have to worry about it. And then all of a sudden, their house was burglarized. So it can happen. And you just, when it's going to happen, it's going to be when you least expect it. And something bad in the Middle East is going to happen. And then everybody's going to be wondering, how do we get in this mess? And this is why you need to learn now. You can't wait until something happens to learn because you might be panicking because you have no food. You have no water. We got to pay attention. Ask honest questions. And then this also got me onto what we were talking about last break was this writer from ESPN. He got fired because there was a big hoopla about how he used the term chink in the armor for Lynn, the basketball player from the Knicks, I think it is. I don't pay attention to much basketball, but this is just ridiculous. Political correctness is killing us. It is killing us. We are becoming afraid to talk to each other honestly, because an honest mistake gets us fired. How's that America? How is that America? Because I want to be able to talk to somebody. I mean, I'm a part of the Big Brother program now, and I remember going through the interview so afraid to answer something the wrong way because it might sound like I'm a pedophile or I'm a racist or whatever. And all I'm trying to be is just honest. But we're just so afraid to be honest with each other anymore because it might sound racist. It's not racist if it's honest. It really isn't. Just think about that. A dishonest question or statement is racist. An honest statement is not. Sure, we have true racism out there. It's very small now. And they'll be honest themselves about their racism, and they'll be out in the open about it. But nobody else is racist besides that. So let's stop pointing the fingers that we're racist. Now, if you want to talk about racism, how about MSNBC when they were talking about the Florida primary and the map of the votership? Just listen to this analyst from MSNBC, and you tell me if this is racist or not.
Pitting himself as the leader of this insurgent movement against the establishment. The challenge is he can't just drive that message. He's sort of scattershot all about. Chuck, one last thing on the map, though, if I could. Yeah. I think the other reason why North Florida is going to be fascinating to watch tonight is because it's going to give us a sense of what's ahead in March when this primary does move to the deep south states. Because as you know, Chuck, a lot of those counties in the Panhandle, in North Florida, the cracker counties, if you will.
Cracker counties. Huh. That's interesting because I'm pretty sure I don't refer to any county a cracker county, or a N-word county, or a redskin county. Like, since when do we even do that? And this is MSNBC who's railing ESPN and this writer for the whole chink in the armor comment. And then they have a analyst who says Cracker County, and nothing happens. So, where's the honesty from MSNBC when it comes to this whole Lynn ESPN writer story? There's no honesty. You have guys, especially Al Sharpton, who are racist to the bone on your channel. But then somebody who makes an honest mistake by saying chink in the armor is going to get fired. And you're going to put so much pressure on them. That's not fair. Grow up, MSNBC. That's ridiculous. No wonder nobody watches you. I mean, just for you listening out there right now, MSNBC's viewership is not even a 1/32 of Fox's viewership. Just their primetime lineup alone, Fox crushes all their shows put together all 24 hours. So just Fox's 8 to 11 o'clock crushes MSNBC's midnight to midnight lineup. So this is why MSNBC, you're not honest. You're not honest at all. All right. So, and I also was talking about Christmas because we're having this big push in this country to take Christmas and Jesus off of everything because it's an assault on faith. It's also an assault on the First Amendment, freedom to religion. Now, people are going to say for the government that it's separation of church and state. That's not what our founders meant by separation of church and state. You know, they actually read the Bible in Congress. They read the Bible. They had a congressional Bible printed just for Congress. We were based off of Judeo-Christian values. And just in our declaration alone, it talks about God dozens of times. We are based off of Christianity. So our government should be... do we go to Iran and say, no. Islam cannot be your official... you cannot be an Islamic state. That's not fair to the Christians or the Jews. No, we don't do that. That's their country. And yes, we are a melting pot here. We'll allow you to practice any religion you want here. But it doesn't mean that our government can't have its own religion. Doesn't mean our government... See, the whole point of separation of church and state was to say that the state can't force a religion on you. That was the whole problem with King George. Our founders said, no, you can't push Catholicism or whatever onto us. We can choose our own religion. We don't need you telling us what to do. That's the whole point of separation of church and state, not that you can't have any religion in government. And I'm not saying we have to have religion in government, but this is getting way too out of hand. There was just another story in New York that New York City canceled all contracts with churches that were practicing out of schools on Sundays, where the schools weren't even used. And the excuse from Bloomberg was separation of church and state. So wait, New York, who's struggling, who needs the cash, denied rent from a type of religion that is using the school on Sundays that nobody else is using. Now, just tell me, how does that affect them? How does that affect the state? Nobody's there during Sundays. Let the religion, if you're willing to accept their money, just let their religion practice there. They're not hurting anybody. And this goes back to Mike Missinelli in Philadelphia. He says, who is this hurt when it comes to Holiday Village, if you don't want to call it Christmas Village? How does this affect your life? Well, you know what? It does affect. If I'm a Jew, it affects my life. Because you know what happened in the 1940s and 1930s over in Germany? Little things happened. Jews were rounded up. They weren't hurt yet because they were lied to. Little step by step, they came after a religion. They came after a race. And they took little steps so nobody would notice. And they said, this doesn't affect my life. I'm not going to worry about it. Until the final step was taken and Jews were put on the trains into concentration camps. So this does affect your life. It doesn't matter who you stand up for whoever's right to worship. Call it Christmas Village. It's not Holiday Village. If it's Hanukkah Village, it's Hanukkah Village. That's what it is. And if I choose to go visit there, I choose to go visit there. I don't have to go there. I can support my faith at home or at my church. We don't have to erase it from the world. We are losing freedom one step at a time, and nobody's paying attention to it. And this is why I go back to you have to pay attention. Did you ever hear that famous line? First they came for the Jew, I said nothing. Then they came for me. That's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to say, this doesn't affect my life somehow. Why am I going to fight for it? Well, eventually it's going to affect your life, and there's not going to be anybody left to help you, to defend you. It's just stick up for people's rights. It doesn't have to be your rights. I mean, it is your right, because you have the right to do what you... But I'm saying, if it's not your religion, stick up for it. I'm proud to stand next to a Jew or to a Muslim. They deserve a right to practice here in this country. But then don't go ahead and take Christmas and Christianity away from me. That's my religion. That's other people's religion. Keep it as it is. I'm not going to a holiday party. I'm going to a Christmas party. And you don't have to go. If you're offended, you don't have to go. You know? I'm sorry. If you're getting offended, you're too thin-skinned, and you don't have enough faith in your religion then. You should be proud to be in the religion you're in. All right, we're up against a break. We'll be right back after this.